Luis.
everyone. Welcome
Good
mga
evening, everyone.
kapitbahay. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 7 of the Voice Actors at Home podcast. I'm Luis Cruz. I'm one of the comm leads of VAPI, and I'm here with Attorney Iggy Sapalo.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for dropping by and listening to our podcast.
Yeah. we're both comm leads of Voice Actors at Home PH. And why are we doing this? I mean, why are we having a podcast? What are we trying to achieve?
Of course, we're trying to achieve, we want to help 1,000 voice actors to earn regular income by at least 2025.
Well, it's a tall order. I have to admit that. But we're gonna try to do that. And the reason we're doing this is to help others, to share our whatever little knowledge we have to help other voice actors, earn that full-time income through this,
Yep.
through our podcast. Ayun. I wanna ask something. You are, ayan, like I mentioned, Attorney Iggy Sapalo.
Yeah.
You're a lawyer, you're a voice actor. Tell us a bit about yourself. I mean, when did you start doing this? When did you start voice acting? How long have you
Well,
been a lawyer? Ang dami kong tanong, titigil na ako.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Luis. Well, I've been a lawyer since 2011. I started as a public attorney lawyer in the city of Makati, maybe for
Okay.
4 years. And after that, I'm in a private practice right now until now. So still practicing. And sa voice acting naman, I'm just new to the industry. I've been a voice actor since 2021, and well, now I'm here and helping you guys out.
Oh, okay. Pero lawyer and voice actor, I mean, off the top of my head, they seem like very different careers.
The,
Pero how are they different? How are they connected?
well, for me, actually, since in grade school and in high school, I attended these theater workshops. I
Mm,
actually went to two repertory summer workshops, and I also was in several school plays until high school. So
okay.
it's been an interest of mine since childhood, and except college, and I wasn't that active anymore. Then sa lawyering naman, if you think about it, in voice acting, you try to be truthful and convince people, right?
Oh,
With
yeah.
what you're saying, with what you're trying to convey. You're trying to convey a message. Actually, it's very similar in lawyering. You have to convince the judge, especially that you have a strong case. You have to have enough evidence or enough. You have to convince the judge that
Argument.
hey, you have to you have enough evidence to win your case.
Okay.
So
So
it's
yeah,
similar in that way.
yeah. It's we're both jobs are about convincing people or communicating to other people and getting them to your side, right? You
Yes,
know.
exactly. In a
Oh,
way, so that's where it's similar. So it actually helps. Voice acting helps because it helps me be a better lawyer in the sense that when I'm in court, I'm more conscious about how I speak and the words I use. So to to in a sense convey whatever message I want to convey more clearly. Diba?
yeah.
So
That's your
yun yung
training.
similarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can see how the training as a voice actor helps you, especially in court nga, like you said. Pero balik rin naman natin. Like, how does being a lawyer help you as a voice actor?
Well, since like I mentioned earlier, I was a POW lawyer for 4 years, and as a POW lawyer, a public attorney, you basically handle all the cases where those clients who can't afford a lawyer. No? That's the line where you say, if you can't afford a lawyer, then one will be provided for you. That was basically me, while while I was a POW lawyer. And
Ay, yung Miranda rights.
oh, yung Miranda rights, right? If you
Okay.
cannot afford one, the government will provide you with one. So yan yung POW lawyer.
Ah,
Yan na
okay.
yun.
Okay, I was curious about that. So
Attorney
public
is
attorney's office, public
here is
defender.
a public defender in the US.
In
Here
the
they call
US.
it POW for short.
Wow.
So Public Attorney's
Okay.
Office. So halos lahat ng kaso sa'yo, next. So all the criminal cases, next. So you
So
keep on standing up. It's yours again, yours again. So you have to learn to think quickly. And,
yeah.
kasi lahat ng kaso halos siguro 80% of the criminal cases are yours.
yeah, you shift, you may parang siguro may index cards or whatever, may notes ka pa lang, one word pa lang, alam mo na kung anong case mo.
Yeah, so parang dapat mabilis ka mag-isip kasi baka magalit si judge.
Okay. Useful rin yan for ano, if, I mean, you dub, di ba? I
Yeah, I
mean,
dub.
so
Yeah.
I think, if it gets to a point when you're dubbing multiple characters, makakatulong rin siguro yung
Yeah, in a
experience mo
sense, it
dun.
helps, especially then, of course, if the lines are medyo kailangan ng konting baguhin, 'di at least kaya mo baguhin kahit makakaisip ka agad ng ano, ng mas
Yeah.
better way to say it in a sense.
Ayan. Ay, wait, ito lang. Test shout out to Leandro Antonio. Oh, wow. If you hear this guy, God voice. But anyway, Krista, yo,
Wow.
yo. Ayan, wait. Kasi hindi lumalabas yung ano, yung comments. Yo, yo, what's up, papi? That's Krista. Hello, Krista. Hi to Ria and Mama Ria and Claire. Thanks for
Hi
watching.
hi, guys, thanks for watching.
Yes. Ayun. But okay, but they're not the no, they're not the focus of this right now. Our focus is on Attorney Iggy. Tapos yung tanong is, you said you've been sort of interested in this for a while, and you were doing theater as a kid. Thus, you mentioned, what drove you to this? Parang ano yung parang impetus for you to start this? When did you start it nga ba again?
Around 2021, probably a year and a half
A year and
estimate
a half ago.
from
So
now, yeah.
pandemic baby siya.
Yeah, pandemic baby. And it all started kasi I saw a batchmate of mine from school. He
Mhm.
posted this about this workshop sa voice acting, and he's not the type eh. So I actually called him up and asked him what it was all about. Then we talked a bit. Then I got hooked. And
Uy.
well, end of story. I'm here now.
End of story na yung voice acting, ah.
Yeah, okay. I am here, and I'm thankful. Actually, I'm thankful that he posted what,
Okay.
and I saw his post because if I didn't see it and he hadn't posted, we probably wouldn't be talking right now. I wouldn't be in the industry. So it's kinda fate that saw the post, got interested, tapos tinawagan ko siya, then sumagot naman, then we got to talk.
Nice. So talagang, the things just fall into place somehow or fell into place somehow. Kaya,
Yes, yes, exactly.
that's
Yeah.
why we end up here. And now, now we're the ones asking you questions, Now,
Yeah.
baka may ma-inspire naman dahil
Yeah, I
makita ka
hope
dito.
so. Yeah, yeah. You can juggle.
Oh. And yeah, if there are other lawyers out there you know, who think maybe they need some help with, being more convincing while they're speaking, maybe baka voice acting nga yung pwede nilang
It
pasukan.
can help. Yeah, it helps. Yes.
Which brings me to so you started this a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I'm curious, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give yourself when you started? Or also, even what advice would you give to your 20-year-old or 10-year-old or whatever? How old self?
Oh, well, kasi yun nga, I was into theater already and singing and stuff like that. Sometimes I think maybe I should have taken it more seriously para maybe now mas madali or it would be a smoother transition. But that background that really helped me, get smoothly. Kahit papaano, it was easier for me to transition kasi kahit papaano may acting and theater background.
Yeah, nakatulong
So,
siya.
yeah, it helps, I'm sure. Yeah. Kahit papaano.
Sige, I'm curious. As a kid, what were your do you have a specific or a special role or a favorite role back then?
Well, the second time I took the rep summer workshop, I auditioned for it, and well, luckily I think I got the lead role for Pippin. So
Pippin,
that was a
lead.
musical, yeah, lead. So I was Pippin that time.
Oy. Lead, how old were you then?
Uh, grade 7.
Grade
It was grade
7.
7.
Wow.
So mga ano, yeah, grade
Nang
7.
naulit na ba in a sense na have you taken, I mean, you do dubbing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So
may
recently,
lead roles ka na bang nakuha as a dubber?
semi-lead sa ano, sa
Uy,
isang
semi-lead.
series. Yeah, sa isang series sa ano, sa Amazon
Teka lang,
Prime.
Amazon, okay. Is it out of NDA?
Yeah, it's ano, post and it's showing already. Yeah.
Showing na. Okay, sige, sige, sige. If that's the case, wait, shout out guys. This is Coach Ryan Bondok. Hi, Coach.
Hey, coach,
Kumusta?
Coach Ryan. Thanks for watching,
Ayan.
tuning in.
Ano yung ano, sige, plug mo na lang habang nandito tayo. Plug mo yung show na yun. What
So,
show is it?
everyone, if you want, you can watch The Power on Amazon Prime. I play Tunde Oho, the Tagalog version. I dubbed Tunde Oho in The
Okay,
Power on
The
Amazon Prime.
Power. So you have a ano, co-lead or ano, 'di ba?
Semi-lead siya.
Semi-lead. I mean,
Yeah.
is that your most memorable role o may iba ka pang memorable role diyan?
Memorable talaga 'yun kasi, siyempre si Direk. Hi, Direk. Thank you for your patience.
Nasabon ka ba ni Direk?
Medyo mabula-bula pa.
Mabula ba?
Well, I have to be honest, I'm not really that, good in ewan ko sa Tagalog. Kasi hindi ako masyadong magaling sa Filipino. My parents are both Bisaya. So
Oh,
so ayun,
hirap nun, Teka
more
lang.
on English o Bisaya o Ilonggo, yeah.
Okay, eto may ano, may comment dito from Maria. Ria, hi Ria. I'm
Hi,
watching
Ria.
that. It's an awesome show. How is it said? Tunde?
Tunde, Tunde.
Tunde is a cool character. It's a cool name. But yun, so yeah, my fan pala of the character right here. And then another, may tanong agad. Attorney Iggy, do you pick your projects or do you get everything that comes your way? That's from Leandro Antonio over at the VAPI group.
Hi,
Ayan.
Leandro. Well, yeah, well, I'm juggling, no, a lot of hats, so I have to pick and choose. I can't take everything that comes. I would if I had the luxury of time, no. If I could take every project or audition for everything, pero wala, I have to pick and choose.
May ano, ito, since you mentioned wearing many hats, this is from Joko. Iggy, talk about your ADR scripts per month. Ang dami while lawyering. How do you do it? Actually, may tanong rin ako. I have the same
I
question.
barely sleep.
You barely sleep. Okay.
Sleeping
So,
is a luxury.
okay. Sleeping. Okay, okay. So, you need to work, you need to eat, you need to sleep, and you need to have a social life. So,
Yeah.
may matatanggal doon.
Yeah, so may mababawas.
May
Yeah.
mababawa.
My kids pa, I have, 2 kids, so
Okay.
we need to work out and exercise, right, Luis?
Oh, syempre, every day.
Kasama 'yan.
So, yeah.
Do you know I have a medicine ball by the computer here. So, sometimes I take breaks, mga 2 minutes. I have a 26-pound medicine ball here.
Uy, okey. Kung meron kang ano, yung
'Di pala
malaking
medicine ball, sorry, it's a 'di pala medicine ball,
yung
but,
balance ball or yung basta yung malaki?
I'll show it. Here, just to prove it. Oh,
Oh, ano, kettlebell, kettlebell.
kettlebell, yeah, kettlebell.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Ako, actually wala akong weights dito, eh. Meron akong ano, wala.
You have to stand up and move from time to time.
Yeah, I just do push-ups here. Yun na
Yeah,
lang ang
madali 'yun.
sa'kin.
'Yun mabilis. Yeah.
Yun, ayun may gano'n, Kuya Iggy Saps, ang lalaking walang pahinga. This is from okay, kay Erwin. Hey, Erwin,
Hey,
kumusta?
Erwin.
Ayun. And then we have Ray Marcano is listening. Ang daming ano, ang daming mga comments. Sige. But teka lang. Before we get to the comments, may ano tayo.
We should move
You said,
forward.
yeah, we should move forward. May sinabi ka kanina about not growing up speaking Tagalog. You said your parents don't speak Tagalog. So hirap ka. This is not your first
No.
language.
Yeah, I learned English first
You
kasi
learn. Okay.
yeah, to be honest, my parents probably learned Tagalog when they moved to Manila na rin. Kasi they grew up in the province and they went to school mostly in where they were, Iloilo and Leyte. So they basically came to Manila college na.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's when they started really talking in Tagalog in college na. And of course, learning it in school, pero iba talaga.
Good evening to you also,
Good
CL.
evening.
Yun. Pero what you said, hindi ka Tagalog, English first ka. Pero how about the bulk of your work? I'm curious. I mean, or
Well, of course,
percentage wise, what do you do?
yeah, most of it is in English. I'm more comfortable with English.
Okay.
Because of course, it's more lawyering. Lawyering in itself is in English. You learn all the laws are written in English, so you're
Okay.
kind of forced to kahit paano be good at the language.
Okay. So you're doing some work in Tagalog, pero you're most of the work you do is in the language na mas
I'm
komportable ka.
more comfortable with. So that would be English.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Pero going back to what you said, lawyering, and
Yeah.
that's a big chunk of why we're here, why we're
Yeah.
why we're talking. I
Yes.
want to ask. Sige, mas formal na tayo ngayon. From a legal standpoint, or from from your your experience as a lawyer, what are the main problems you see that voice actors encounter in the industry?
So from a legal standpoint, of course, voice actors, our bread and butter is you get your gigs, you get your projects, and of course, you expect TF, your talent fee, right?
Okay.
So
Siyempre. Because
you get your you how do you get your gigs? You through social media, etc. Clients contact you. So then suddenly you do a project, then this client suddenly after doing the project suddenly ghosts you. Hindi na
oof.
nagpakita. Gusto kailangan mo na mabayaran ka sa ginawa mong trabaho, right? We all need it. It's your bread and butter. It's what you need to
It's
survive.
her
So
livelihood.
suddenly your livelihood, you try to contact the client, hey, we're done, right? The project's done. It's being played already. I hear my voice on wherever, on say social media, the radio, and I still haven't been paid. Come on. Tapos, eh, verbal lang. Wala kayong usapan. You didn't put it in writing. You don't have any proof that you agree you did this, how much you agreed to do it for, when you did it, right? So that's then they start then of course, then that's a big problem.
Mhm.
Kasi singilan na eh, di ba? Then sometimes meron naman you have the amount, what work to do, but you don't put the time of payment when you're supposed to be paid. It's not clear, right? So
Ah,
parang okay, sige, you get paid a year after, you get paid 6 months after. So especially these times, cash flow
six
is
months.
cash
Cash
flow is
flow is
very
king.
important, right? Cash flow is
Cash flow
king.
is ano, I
So
mean, we're running, I mean, we are effectively, we're running businesses from home. We're
yeah.
running our own businesses. So, kung wala kang cash flow,
Yeah, kasi ang
hindi
dami mo ngang project, di ka naman nababayaran. 'Di ba?
oh,
Dami mong ginawang VO, wala ka namang or gusto mo nang mabayaran kaso ginost ka na kasi didn't
ouch.
prepare or protect yourself properly from the start. So,
Walang ano, walang hindi ka exposure does not feed you. Exposure
yeah,
kills you.
exactly. So, basically, if you put it into law, it's basic obligations and contracts yan. So, it's a
Ah,
contract between you and the client and yourself who's the voiceover artist, right?
ouch. Okay, wait.
So,
Damn. Okay, I am going to ask a question. Pero ito, I want to, there's a comment that came up here. I want to just bring it up and then we'll tackle it later. Because ano, so here, what are the legal repercussions po if your project is on NDA or is under NDA in the States, if the client's based there, and you up and let's say accidentally disclose it in the Philippines prior to its posted date of release? Are NDAs omnipresent po? Um,
well, I don't know. Would you answer that now or we answer it later?
let's have a very, very short answer now. Because I think I know the answer to this one.
Yeah, well, as long as you sign the NDA, right? Whatever the reason for it, kesyo you did it accidentally or not.
I
Um,
don't know. The disclosure is is the accidental plus is
yeah,
was accident.
it was accidental disclosure, but you still disclosed it. I'm sure nakalagay sa NDA yung possible repercussions. There will be repercussions there in the contract stating what could possibly happen if
Mm-hmm.
you violate the NDA, and the client will have a right
Demand.
to demand, no, will have a right to impose those the sanctions that are stated in the contract, right? So
Okay.
it's up to you to, I don't know, maybe there's a way na mag-sorry ka na lang or something that I didn't mean
Yeah.
it. And sana, uh, kasi it's between you and the client, regardless of whether if the client is abroad or not. If the client won't be happy with you, and since you're under, in a sense, the payroll of the client, then whatever sanctions na are included with revealing, or yeah, you violated the NDA, you have to take it and
Yeah.
maybe find a way to at least
Get back in the good
apologize.
graces.
Apologize. Yeah, yeah. You can try apologizing, you know.
Yes. So, in other words, do not break your NDAs
Yeah.
at all. No matter who,
Be very careful with those things. Yeah.
yes. Pero yon, sige, be very careful. Yeah, in that line of thinking, what are the things a voice actor should be careful about? What are your general tips for voice actors?
Yun nga. So we're talking about yung kanina nga na there are a lot of voice actors are complaining that gusto ko na singilin, etc. But I can't. How do I do it or something? Then, of course, the first thing I ask these is, do you have a contract?
Mhm.
So basically, a contract in the law in the Philippines, it's a meeting of the minds between two persons whereby one binds himself with respect to the other to give something or render service. Okay, so yung VO, siya yung on the side of rendering service, and of course yung client, siya yung after your service is rendered, dapat he has the obligation naman to pay for whatever service you rendered. So, ganun sana, ganun lang kasimple, no? It's important to, I know, of course, paper, no? Paper. So, let's say paper isn't just paper now. It can be a digital contract. It can
Okay.
be an email. It can be a conversation on Messenger or Viber or social media or whatever. At least have something in writing, no? That where you can put what services you're offering, how much you're offering it for, and it
Okay.
shows that the client agreed to the offer. And of course, you also put when you expect to be paid, after the how long how long of a time frame you expect to be paid after the services are accepted and rendered. And of course, of the details of ano, sino ba siya? Who is he? Is
Mhm.
it a corporation? Is it a person? What's the address, contact numbers, email details? Those are very important na makuha, and you put it in writing, no?
Put
So although,
everything.
yeah, basically, yeah. So, and ideally, it's ideal that you have a contract that you both sign and notarize. That's ideal, but I know there are a lot of instances where I don't know it. It seems to be so hard to do in this industry, no? So at
Yes.
least if you can't get a signed contract notarized, get all those details that I previously mentioned. Kasi that will be your evidence if and when the time comes that
Ah,
they don't pay you, and you want to run after them because they haven't paid you.
oh, okay, wait. I'm gonna try to recap because there are multiple points there. The main one is get a contract. I mean, right?
Ideally,
Get
yeah.
make sure there's a contract, and then if you're not able to secure a contract, make sure stuff is in writing.
Yeah, yeah. Kaya nga yung writing I generalized na. It can be emails, it can be
Okay.
messages in sa messenger that you want to do this project. You accept the project. How much will I get paid? When? Etc. Get the meet. Yeah.
Okay. Sige, let's lump those two together. Basta make sure everything is in writing, ideally in a contract. Ano yung terms, or what are the main pieces of information? Let's recap those. What are the main pieces of information that should be included in your
Yeah,
documentation?
and the documentation. Of course, sure. First, of course, you and ano, who are the parties in the contract? They're the client. Who is the client? You get the
Okay.
details of client. So name, is it a corporation, individual, etc.
Mhm.
email addresses because we need to be able to contact him just in case. So
Okay.
ganun din, ikaw, nandun ka rin. You're there, your
S
contact details, etc.
Okay. So number 1
How
is parties involved
the
and
parties
contact
involved.
details. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's number
contact
1.
details. Yeah. Then of course, what the client expects from you. So you put, of
Okay.
course, you describe your what VO work the client wants you to do. Kasi pwede ring defense niyan. If your description is kind of unclear, he can make it as an excuse na, hey,
Hindi mo ginawa yun.
hindi mo naman nagawa yung ano ito,
Oh,
this is how we, described it or something. Kung walang description, pwede niyang di ba? He can model it. He can say,
okay.
you
So
you didn't your services weren't up to standard. We weren't even able to use it. Why should I pay you? So try to ensure that my description naman ng what the
so
client wants, 'di ba?
so that's number 2 would be specific deliverables from you.
Yeah, yeah,
Tama ba
sama
yun?
mo yan,
Okay,
yeah.
sige.
Then of course, after you deliver, magkano yung how much the client agrees to pay you, right?
Consideration. I mean, kasi of course, kasi I have a real estate background. So are you using the same term? Consideration rin ba yung term doon if it's in the contract or
No, but
basta
well, we can use the of course, the common term we always hear in the VO industry is your talent fee. So we
talent
can
fee?
term it, you can term it as contract price or talent fee, but whatever, it's there. At least it's clear. Uh, for services rendered,
Mhm.
put the specific amount. Then, of course, you can also put. Ideally, you also put the after services have been submitted, due date.
Ah,
When the services are due, when you expect to be paid, how long? Sometimes of course the client will ask, pwede ba pag I mean if the client's maarte, pwede bang 1 month from now, a few weeks from now, yan. Bahala kayo. But at least you put a date, right? A deadline.
okay. So okay, sige. So parties involved, expectations and deliverables, specific, tapos
Mhm.
compensation or contract price and terms.
Terms, yeah, yeah, terms of
Ayan, so
payment,
those
how
are the
to be
3.
paid, etc. Yeah. So
Yeah,
basically, that's not much information that will fit in one bond paper if you think about it. Pag
okay.
hindi masyadong maano no, mabusisi. So I think
Oh,
it's worth the effort to, and
to
it will
meet.
protect both parties if you think about it. Not
Yeah.
just it'll protect both the client and you if things get a little bit messy.
So is it fair to say that the more specific you are, the better in everything?
Well,
Or overgeneralization?
it depends because it can cut both ways, right? If you're too specific, then suddenly the client sees the whole, says, "Oh, di mo naman nagawa 'to kasi sobrang specific mo, may certain tone or timbre na gusto or certain
Okay.
type of delivery." Tapos iba pala yung definition niyo ng,
Okay, sige.
'di ba, what they want, eh, dun ka na baka madali ka rin dun. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Sige, basta okay, so I guess maybe that's, an overreach on my part, but
yeah,
basta the parties involved, expectations and deliverables, consideration, and terms. Yun
yeah.
yung rough general 3
Rough,
ano?
yeah, that you need to write
Okay.
down and agree upon and have
Okay,
notarized if you want and put in
if
the contract. Yeah.
okay. Or if hindi nga ma-contract malagay sa contract and notarized, at the very least, naka-summarize in an
Mhm.
email or a message,
Mm.
puwede. It's
Yeah.
not ideal,
Yeah,
but
but at least you have something to, yeah, show to the court when the time comes. We'll come to that. Yeah.
we'll come to that. Okay. There's a question here. I mean, saan pumapasok yung NDA sa contract? I mean, does it have to be part of the contract?
No, no,
Or
an NDA can be separate naman. Separate. It can be a standalone contract kasi baka naman mamaya, or it can be if
built in?
but usually NDAs are of course yung bigger companies.
Yeah.
And those bigger companies usually have a standard contract already for you to sign. So actually in that sense, you don't have to worry about it being, for you formulating it. But well, coming to that, since we're talking about contracts from big companies, ayun, usually these big companies, may mga ready contract, you can't really negotiate with them anymore, right? Yeah, you
Yes.
have your contract. They have this 10-page contract, very small letters. They give it to you. Hi, Luis. Oh, can you do a commercial for us? Oh, here's our contract. 10 pages,
10
very
pages.
small letters. Please sign. Take it or leave it. In a sense, they don't say that, but in a sense, take it or leave it. If you don't want to, we can find
We'll go to next.
another voice actor to do
Okay.
it for us, right?
So that's another problem we face. A lot of voice actors
Yeah.
face is nga, in a way na baka
Bal
paminsan mapipilitan tayo na
Baliktad naman 'yun, baliktad naman. May ready contract na, but of course, it's more in favor of the
the
client.
corporation, the
Yeah,
client. Okay.
client, 'di ba? Yung mga
Ayun.
may ready contracts na, yung mga big corporations na 'yan who
Um,
ask us to do commercials, etc.
Actually, I was okay. Sige, I have a list of questions here. But I was gonna ask this the next question. Are there situations where it's okay not to have a contract? Pero sinagot na ba natin yan in a way?
Um, siguro, if like you've had, well, good experiences with the client already, like
Okay.
maybe
Ah,
the
sige.
first time you get into an agreement, you always have a contract the first time, but maybe if it's a trusted, let's say you build rapport and you have a close relationship with the client, he's ordered 3, 4, 5 times na wala
Okay.
namang problema, then
Maybe.
maybe you can get away with not having a contract per se ready all the time. But in a sense, if you think about it, since he's a repeat client, you should already have a template for him and a ready contract. Eh.
Okay.
Paulit-ulit na rin naman eh. What happens is that you have yeah, that's another tip, no? If you have a repeat client or you have a lot of clients naman, and to save on time and effort, you already have a template of how much you want to get paid, etc. You just adjust it. You have a Word file, you just change the who the client is, you change the amount, change the date, so it
So
saves
parang
time.
may boilerplate contract ka na siya na
Oh, may draft contract ka na adjustable na lang. Now you just add a few provisions here and there depending on the client, 'di ba?
okay. Okay.
So
Sige, that's
template, yeah, you have a template that so that means you shouldn't have an excuse na kasi andiyan na eh.
so yung
Konti na lang yung papalitan mo eh, 'di
So
ba?
yung the one situation I can think of where it's okay not to have a contract is yun nga, regular client na madalas mong kausap. Pero binaligtad pa natin na actually all the more reason for them for you to, oh no, Iggy disappeared. Okay, sige. I'm gonna try to recap what he said. So I was thinking that if you have previous work history with a client and you have a good relationship already with them, maybe puwede kang ano, you can work with them and you can trust that they're gonna do fine, they're gonna do right by you. But, based on this, according to Attorney Iggy, all the more nga, it's all the more reason for you to just, have something ready already. Make sure na may ano ka na, may pre-made contract ka na para, oh, they need a rush project from you. Oh, here, sign na lang tayo ta's tapos na tayo and we can get the work done. Hi. Okay, here's a little bit of a confession. We sort of discussed these things already beforehand. So I'm going to go to the next question we have. The next question I had for him, which was supposed to be, um, what provisions should you look out for in VO contracts? So non-competes and lockouts. That is something a lot of people who are not in commercial VO sort of forget about. Is that they just think they're getting paid for their voice and that's it. They're getting paid for the time they spend recording and that's it. But the fact is, when you are lending your voice to a product or to a company, you are effectively giving them exclusive rights to your voice. Oh, there we go.
Hey, so
Hey, welcome
I'm
back.
back.
I
Sorry
was
about that.
floundering for a few minutes over there.
Yeah, sorry about that. The internet. I'm gonna
Yeah.
sue PLDT.
Okay. But I started discussing what we had previously discussed,
Yeah,
and I asked the question. I asked myself the question: what provisions should you look out for in VO contracts? And one of the first things I wanted to talk about was non-competes or lockouts.
yeah,
So,
non-compete.
can you talk a little bit about non-competes and lockouts in VO
So of course,
contracts?
non-competes and lockouts. No, these are kind of very important, and like previously mentioned, no, these are usually given by the big companies, right? Of
Hmm.
course, the big, let's say, the big companies who, if you endorse or they use your voice for their product, then you're locked out from getting their competition of the competition as clients for, let's say, 10, 15 months, right? If I'm not
Yeah, the
mistaken, depending
typical.
on the contract, right?
Yeah, usually if it's for a promo, usually it's 3 to 6 months. But for if it's for a campaign, it's usually in the Philippines at least, it's a 15-month contract.
So
So
that yeah, so
yeah,
that's if you think about it, how much these companies pay for commercials and how long you're locked out. You basically lockout for 15 months is loss of income for the voice actor, right?
wait, loss. Okay, I
Loss,
wanna loss of income. You specifically, can you explain loss of income?
loss of income because you can't, let's say, fast food chains, you're plugging for a certain fast food, so you can't. Of course, they lock you out from doing commercials for any other fast foods, and
Oh,
these are big companies, right? So
for okay, so
15 months, you you're stuck with them.
okay,
Basically, you say, hey, 15 months, you're stuck with us. Sorry, you can't do a commercial for anyone else.
so
So
for
basically, that's
example,
it.
sige, if let's say, sige, gamitin natin shirt. It's a DC property, Superman. I do quote an ad for Superman. I can't do anything for Marvel anymore for
Yeah,
15 months.
yeah, for
Tama, is
15
that
months. Yeah,
so? I cannot earn. So when you say lost income, I cannot earn from any Marvel properties for
for
that period of
15
time
months. Yes.
for 15 months. Okay, so does that? I mean, can we make some sort of Can we quantify that in um? So parang I guess the question here is, so what kung in 15 months hindi ako if I can't work for that other company for 15 months, why does it matter?
Oh well,
Why
it's a good thing you use DC and Marvel. You know how
Okay.
much DC and Marvel make, right? These
Oh
movies or
yes,
these
they make a
companies.
lot of
So,
money.
Marvel is owned by Disney.
Okay.
So, imagine how much income you would possibly earn if Disney would approach you and say, "Hey, can you do some of our Marvel commercials?" Right? But you can't because
Okay.
you're stuck with DC for 15 months. So what the amount of money that Marvel was supposed to offer you for doing a commercial for them will go to someone else for sure.
Okay.
Especially if during that period they really need that ad, right? So hindi na yun sa'yo. That's not yours anymore. Sa iba na yan kasi locked out ka eh. But they need the ad now. So goodbye to that whatever amount that Marvel is gonna offer you, right?
Goodbye to so that's what you mean by lost income. Okay.
Mm.
And but there's a question here that's related. This is from Leandro. But shouldn't your pay be higher if you're on a lockout? Because the client is depriving you of the chance of working for the opposing company.
So that's
So,
exactly why you should be paid really high if there's a
okay.
lockout because it's basically saying we own your voice, especially for this type of commercial, this type of product for 15 months. Your voice for that commercial is ours. You're locked into us.
Okay, so that's
Pasensya na
why
yung iba. So that's why
that's
you have to charge really high.
okay. Charge really. So that's why commercial VO rates are usually much higher than others like dubbing
Yeah, because of
or
those lockouts. Kasi automatically it's I know you lose clients with the lockouts. Yeah. You lose
Okay.
all the competitors of whatever product you uh, did a commercial for, right?
Yeah, so sorry, this is a I'll admit this is a pet peeve of mine. So pag may nakikita akong ad or casting call on a social site, on a social media site, and they're saying they need an announcer or they need a character, tapos yung bayad nila is 2,000 or 1,000 or or whatever, less than 5,000 pesos. I mean, can you explain that? Like, if I do a commercial for 5,000 pesos, okay,
Then you're locked out for 15
15
months.
months. So, yung bayad mo is not for the 30 minutes or
Yeah,
30 or
it's basically for the 15 months that you're locked out and unable to earn income from similar clients, right?
so
So that's a lot.
5,000.
That's kind of
Yeah.
broad.
Ano
Ilang
bang minimum wage ngayon? Like 500 plus per
500
day?
plus per day.
So,
So
kung yung
that's like
lockout
10,
10 days.
15, 10 days lang yun, di ba?
So,
10
10 days lockout, 5,000 okay lang 'yon.
Pwede na. Yeah,
Pero
pwede na.
365 days lockout or 400, sabihin natin 400 days
More
lockout.
than 15 months eh. So
Oh,
more, yeah.
15. Well, it's
Yeah.
roughly 400, 500
Yeah,
days?
yeah.
Okay.
More or less.
So, times 500, yeah, that should be roughly what a commercial will pay you
Yes, more
if
or
you
less.
think
Yeah.
about it.
So yeah, you should at least you should have a certain minimum rate. I suggest you have a certain minimum rate for a certain period of lockout, right?
Okay.
So you
Okay, wait.
do the math, do some computations and
Yeah.
see what should be fair for the VO
But
artists.
I'm gonna plug this a little bit.
Yeah,
We have a voice actors at home
that'll
a
help.
voice actors at home ph rate calculator.
That'll help.
That'll help. Um, I mean, there are some of us who think some of those prices still need to be adjusted, but it's still we think what we believe is a fair, our fair price at right now. So are if you want to be a voice actor in the Philippines, this resource is definitely something you need to know. There's a message here. I believe this was from Nina. In my experience, this is what I look for in contracts. One, what you're consenting to have your voice used for. Two, what you're consenting to be done with your voice. Three, how you can promote the project. For example, if you can mention the projects and write ups about yourself, if you can include snippets in your portfolio. And hi, Luis and Iggy. So, comments on this, Ig?
Yeah, this is of course this is more on the details if how because of course the issue of AI voice and voice recording and stuff like that for AI is
Oh,
really
no.
quite a hot topic these days, right?
Yeah.
AI in general. So yes, this should in a sense be part of the contract. You should
Know
that
what it's being
reminds
used for.
me, yeah, yeah, and of course they're allowed to use your voice in
Oh,
perpetuity that you
shoot.
should avoid that, right? Perpetual, that hey, your
Yeah,
voice,
okay.
we
What does
own
that
your
mean?
voice.
We own your voice.
Yeah,
That's the
and
no.
yeah, we own your
Yes.
voice.
I want to share. Sige, I'm gonna interrupt a little bit. I want to share a story. There's something I read. This guy who, in the U.S., he got a $1,000 payday for a bank, a local bank where he lives. So $1,000. That's what 50,000 pesos
50,
roughly, diba?
55, yeah.
But the thing is, he signed to it in perpetuity. I mean, so forever they can use his voice for $1,000.
So kaya nga, delugi ka na. It's perpetual lockout.
Yeah, it's a perpetual lockout. It's a quick
Yeah,
payday, but
yeah.
tapos na.
Perpetual lockout, yeah.
Ito yung nabasa ko. He was in the running for a national bank.
Mhm.
His voice was submitted for a national bank, and he had the potential. He was shortlisted, and he could have earned from that project daw mga something in the range of 40 to $50,000.
So that's your lost income.
But because that national bank saw that he had an ad
Uh,
in a local bank, wala na. Hindi na siya pwede.
yeah.
Ang sakit. Ang sakit nun.
So yeah, that's what you should look out for pala, one of the provisions. But those provisions kasi, yun nga, come usually from the bigger clients. So
Okay.
yeah, you have to
Have to
go
watch out.
through all, yeah, and go through all the provisions kung marami-rami yun. And maybe that could be a deal break. That should be a deal breaker for you, and tell them, hey, if you don't take this provision out, this provision on perpetuity, then I'm
Oh,
sorry, I can't do this for you. Or yeah,
wow.
or
So
you
easy.
pay me, or you pay me $1 million or something like that.
Yeah, $1 million.
50 million pesos, 55 million
Yeah,
pesos.
I can live off that for quite a while.
In perpetuity daw, they $1
Actually,
million dollars.
at current interest rates, parang kaya kong mag-live off interest at that at that amount. Pero kailangan medyo tipid, tipid. But anyway, we're going into the weeds right now. Um, kasi there's something I really want to go back also to as in when he said ghosting is hindi ka nabayaran. This is something na, to be honest, ako nangyari na rin sa akin.
Yeah, yeah.
um, uh, how do you go about it? I mean, what's your process, or how would you go about getting yourself paid?
Well, assuming that we talked about what to do to protect yourself, right? You
Mm,
listed all the details. So the next step, of course, would be to um, file a file a demand, write a demand letter first to the person you. That's part of the reason why you get the contact details, so you know where to contact the person in the first place. If
okay.
you if he or she or the company has not paid you, you know how to get in touch and say, hey, you haven't paid me.
Okay.
So you're what you do. The first thing to do is get all the details, write a demand letter, and state that uh, the due date has passed. I already submitted all my requirements.
Mhm.
Uh, and then even it would be even better if, let's say, it's a radio ad, it's a commercial ad, it's a,
You
and
say
you
when
have
it's
proof that
published.
it's been used already. Hey,
Okay.
I here's a link to, I've heard my voice. Here's a link to the commercial that I did for you, but you haven't paid me yet. Then you can write the then you write the details, how much you're demanding, etc. And there you have a demand letter. Hopefully, then after writing a demand letter, uh the client pays you already. That's the that's the um, the best the best thing that can happen. Sana bayaran ka na, no, after you write the demand letter. Pero but if not, then for amounts that are lower than 400,000 or below, then you can, after filing the demand letter and give everything time to pay, and they still don't, then you can
Mhm.
already file a small claims with a small claims court. Okay,
Small.
you don't need a lawyer for this. The amount should be below 400,000. You should have enough evidence, but at least so there, that's what you do. You file with
So
a small claims
but
court.
we're talking about yung demandahan na 'to.
Demandahan na. Yeah,
This
yeah.
is last resort
Last
essentially. Is that
resort
last
na.
resort na ba yun?
Yeah,
'Pag
it's
demanda, okay.
yeah, last resort na. After the demand letter, sinulatan mo na nga ng demand letter, then they still refuse to pay, then that's the time you file a small claims. No?
Okay.
And it's a way that the government is helping. Maybe it's a big help for freelancers and people who have demands or sums of money lower than 400,000 pesos, 400,000 and below. So
400,000. Yun yung
400,000 and below. Above that, you need a lawyer na to
okay.
help you. Yeah, you need it's a sum of money case with the lawyer na, and you file that with the regional trial court. Here, you don't need a lawyer. The one who will be looking at the evidence you'll be presenting is the metropolitan or the municipal trial court judge.
Okay.
No, and they'll decide your case based on all the documents, all the evidence that you present. That's why I stress that yun nga, mas maganda kung may contract kasi
Documents,
that's what you'll
documents.
be That's kasi titingnan nga ng ano, think about this, titingnan ng judge 'yan kung magkakasuhan na. The a judge will be looking at your documents and seeing if all the details are there, and you have, in a sense, you have to convince the judge that, "Hey, I did my voiceover work already. I did everything they wanted me to."
Mhm.
And but still, and we have that had an agreed amount. The date is past due. That's why I wrote a demand letter to them, and still they won't pay. That's why I'm filing this small claims case. So
Okay.
what will the judge use as evidence if you have no
Walang contract.
evidence? Right. So that's why the details that I said earlier, at least with respect to your getting paid, are very important. Because that's what you will use in case you decide to file a case, file a small claims case.
Okay. So it seems to be that the main thing the main piece of advice, and because everything seems to hinge on this, is make sure your agreement is documented.
Yes, yes. Kasi you'll be grasping at air and grasping at straws kung wala. Although
Okay.
on a rare chance, if you have witnesses who actually overheard a conversation and they're
Ah,
willing to testify that I heard you and the client talking and that you agreed on this amount,
wow.
mm,
Parang ang hirap pala nun, ah.
that'll work, but it's harder because you have to convince that person to be a witness for you, right?
Or you go in as if you manage to happen to do it ng telecon kayo, a Zoom call recorded,
There
pwede
you can,
yun.
yeah, you can convince. That's in a sense documentation. You
That's
submit
documentation.
the recorded agreement as evidence.
So
Yeah,
it goes back to that.
yeah.
Find a
Still,
way to document or to
yeah,
prove.
yeah. That's the
Okay.
end. That's the most important thing. Because
Oh,
the judge is also a lawyer. The judge will look at evidence.
okay. So
They'll
wait.
decide
So
based on evidence.
okay. So ito, I'm gonna try to recap again. So if you're not paid, the first thing you should do, sorry, before that, you said demand letter.
Yeah, you write the letter first to the
Yeah,
client. It's a last, your last, parang in a sense, you're giving the client a last chance
before you pay.
before you file with the court. You
Okay.
last chance. Oh, please pay me this amount. Then we're done. I'll be happy.
I
Okay.
have a question. Kasi, I mean, usually yung parang parinig ko or hint ko, when a client has not paid, is pinapadala ko na resending my invoice. I mean, it's not a demand letter, but it's basically saying, uy, pansinin mo naman tong invoice ko. Bayaran mo na ako. Is that something? I mean, how is a demand letter different from that invoice?
Well, kasi an invoice in a sense is a receipt, no, that you, or your ano, naniningil ka nga, no, but it's in the course of business. But the demand letter, it's really tight. If you, that's why even if it's a small claims court, and in a sense you don't need a lawyer, but you need a lawyer for guidance to help
Okay.
you. Let's say draft the demand letter, because
Ah,
you have to put in the details there also. Like
ah,
we agreed on, I did the project, it's done, we finished it on
okay.
uh my amount, my the amount due to me that we agreed upon that you should pay me is this amount. I still have not been paid. Please pay. If not, I will be forced to resort to legal action. Usually, ganyan yung last line
O-
ng demand letter.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
and usually, yeah, add one more point. Usually, you give an amount of time. Like depends on you how generous you are.
15
Uh,
business days or
five
whatever.
days. If in 5 days, if in 10 days, if in 15 days, I receive no response from you or I am not yet paid, then I
I
am
will look
sorry,
for
but
it.
I'll have to file a case against you. I'll have to resort to legal action.
Okay.
Something that usually that's the ending of a demand letter. That's the last line.
So, is it fair to say that yung invoice, parang normal business
Yeah,
document
you
yon?
just reminder lang yan na, please pay your
Reminder lang.
bill. Please pay your
Yung
bill.
demand letter is like, seryosong usapan na to, please.
Please pay me, if not, I'll ano. Then, of course, if you say I'll file a case against you, di tuloy mo na nga talaga. Kasi,
So
'di
if
ba?
you're gonna write a demand letter, make sure you can follow through.
Yeah, you follow kasi pangit na, parang pagtatawanan ka ng client mo, right? Oh,
Oh,
demand letter pala tapos tignan mo wala namang nangyari. 'Di lalo kang ano, 'di ba, parang lalo ka ng hindi babayarin nito.
kasi wala ka
Kasi
parang
you didn't push through with, you know,
yeah,
with
parang
the
hanggang ano ka lang,
case.
hanggang dada ka lang.
Yeah, yeah.
Wala ka namang okey,
Yeah. But there's a
alright.
small fee, no? But from depending on the amount, probably
Mhm.
from 2,000 to 2,000 being the lowest to about 5,000 being the highest sa
Well,
small
if they owe
claims.
you yun nga up to 400,000,
Yeah.
ang liit na
Yung
ng 5,000 na yun.
yeah, so yun.
Okey,
So there's a small fee. But in a sense that's the way of the government to help, the freelancers, voice actors in general, get paid, no, for any amount below 400,000 and below. But
alright.
yun nga, the requirement is please have enough
Documentation,
evidence. Yeah,
evidence.
please make sure you can prove that someone owes you money. How?
Okay, last question. Do you have any, let's say, top 3 pieces of advice for for voice actors?
Well,
Or any
just
number?
just to reiterate, just make sure you protect yourself,
Mm,
document everything, and I'll just give you more reasons to document. No,
okay.
here, under the law, kasi if under a verbal contract, as long as you can prove a verbal contract, let's say you have evidence, verbal contract, prescriptive period, meaning the period you can, parang kahit baliwalain mo siya, you have a
Mhm.
deadline of 6 years
6 years.
to 6 years to get back your money for a verbal contract. You
Okay,
can you can demand your money for 6 years.
okay.
Verbal yan, verbal. No?
Verbal. Question yung sabihin natin ganito, it's a recorded call. Technically, it's verbal, but it's demanded via video.
Ayan,
Is
medyo
that
technical
count as
yan. Baka
verbal?
pwede yan, depende yan sa ano, i-argue.
Depende
Kasi
kung ano.
let's say I was a lawyer for tapos nag 7 years na. Pwede ning argue na, hey, it's
Ah,
recorded and submitted to court. No? Pero I mean, siguro
okay.
kung ano. So that would be interesting. An
Interesting
interesting,
case yan. Sige.
yeah, case. Yeah, that would be hypothetically interesting.
Okay.
Tapos yung isa naman, pag written kasi 10 years. Under the
Ooh,
Civil Code, 10 years. So, you have a 10-year deadline to demand yung payment for yan, yung services rendered.
that's an extra 4
So,
years
that's an
ng
extra
salary.
4 years just because you documented it properly. Although mahaba na rin yung 6.
Yeah,
But,
mahaba na rin.
pero still, usually yung 6 kulang sa ebidensya. Diba? So, yun.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
think of it, if you have a written contract, pwede mo siyang singilin kahit umabot ng ano, 'wag mo lang palagpasin ng 10 years. Puwede mo pa rin
10
siya
years babay
singilin.
na yun.
Yeah, after 10 years sobra na, parang, you don't need it, you're not interested, nagpalipas ka ng 10 years.
Okay. Okay. So that's your biggest piece of advice is really protect yourself.
Yeah,
Cover your
protect
bases.
yourself because that's your livelihood, that's your cash cow, right?
True.
As VOs.
Yeah. Yun nga, if that's your full-time income from voice
Yeah,
acting, you gotta
tapos
make sure
hindi yeah, you protect your income, 'di ba?
pr- uh, protect your income. All right, but anyway, we are wrapping up.
Thank you
um,
guys.
but thank you, Attorney Iggy, for spending the past more than an hour with us.
Hey, I hope you learn,
Um,
guys. I hope I helped. I hope you learned something from this
well,
podcast.
I definitely learned something that new that like di ko- I should have known this a few years ago. So thank you, Iggy. Do
Yes,
you
sir.
have any
Thank you
last
as
words,
well.
baka sakali?
Not much. Just thank you for having me here. And if you need any other legal advice, we can do it. We can do another topic in another podcast if you want.
Ay, sige, game. That's for next season. Because for now,
Yeah.
I'm sure we have more questions and we can gather questions. Siguro if you have more questions, just put them in the comments or we'll send them via email, and then we'll come up with a whole show focused on legal topics, and then pwede tayo mag-usap ulit.
Yeah,
All
sure.
right.
Of course. Thanks,
Ayan.
guys. Thanks,
So
everyone.
thanks
Thanks, Vince.
everyone, mga kapitbahay. Again, thank you, and see you in the next episode.
Yeah, see you
Bye, guys.
guys. Bye.